Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 15 of the Juco Editz podcast. Today, I'm going to be joined by Victor Figueroa of the Baltimore Orioles minor league first baseman. Victor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, Victor. So, how we're going to start off the podcast is talk to me about your time at River Ridge High School.
That would be my senior year. So growing up, I moved around a lot during high school. I went to my first high school in Land O'Lakes, in the Land O'Lakes area back in Florida. It's called Sunlight High School. I spent my first 3 years there playing JV and varsity baseball. And then for my senior year, I transferred to River Ridge High School, where really that's where I took my baseball seriously and I saw that I had a future in the game. So that was really where it all started.
Okay, so next, Victor, I want you to talk to me. What was your recruitment like out of high school?
It wasn't that big, to be honest. I mean, I only had one offer, and it was to go to Florida International University under Coach Melendez. But unfortunately, there was a coaching change at the time that left me back into the recruiting process. And 2 weeks before the fall semester of my freshman year, my only other offer was going to Mississippi Valley State, which is where I attended my freshman year.
Right. So at Mississippi Valley State, your freshman year, you hit 397, 10 doubles, 8 home runs, 43 RBIs. You're a first team All SWAC, 22 multi-hit games. There's a couple games I want you to talk to me about. The first one was Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, that was midweek where you're playing against better competition. You're going outside of your conference, and being in the SWAC. I didn't define it as what conference I'm playing in. I defined it as the game. The game is baseball. It's the same game, same dimensions. You still got to do your best. And going into that, I just wanted to show that hey, like me as a ball player, it doesn't matter where I am, it doesn't matter who I play against. The game is still the same. So I just wanted to show that I can play at the higher level, and that's what I did.
Okay, next is going to be Alcorn State.
Yeah, man. Alcorn is they were in the SWAC too, and playing against Alcorn was really just a confidence booster. I want to say, like, I knew that going into the series that I'm as a freshman, all you want to do is play your best and show out so that you can have a better future. You want to start your career hot. So going into that, that was really where it all woke up and where the bat got hot. And then I'm just saying, hey man, how can be even more consistent than what I'm doing now? And that was just again another confidence booster for me.
Okay, Grambling State.
Man, Grambling State, that was like a rivalry game for us, man, because going into the season, we went to the HBCU Classic where we played at the Astro Stadium, and our manager, he actually was an alumni from Grambling, so he also had his personal, want to beat the team that I used to play for. So we always had a little fire when we played against them, and just going into that stadium, knowing that hey, like the dimensions of that field or for a hitter that I want to go in there and dominate like I always wanted to, and that's what I did when I showed up to that field.
Jackson State.
Jackson State, that's where I started picking up the rivalries like with pitchers and hitters. That's where
Okay.
that was a team that hey, like every in the beginning of the season, I remember this. It was when we were playing in the HBCU Classic. We were playing against Jackson State, and I'm pretty sure we lost maybe 20-3. And I said, hey man, the next time we play these guys, I'm gonna go all out because I can't believe that I'm starting my career like this. Next thing you know, we play them 3 more times and I'm balling out, I'm banging, and I'm just realizing that hey man, one game don't define me. Like, hey, you might get me out the first time, but you're gonna need to try a lot harder to get me out multiple times in a row. So that was just a game where I realized that hey, like you just gotta stay consistent and stay true to your game.
Okay, now you decide to take the JUCO route. So, but when you were taking the JUCO route, what all schools reached out to you?
I had a lot of mid-major schools reach out to me because coming from the SWAC, you don't have a lot of credibility from playing in that conference. So in doing so, I had a lot of mid-majors reach out to me. I don't remember the exact names, but it was like a couple mid-majors where they were like, "Hey, like we saw that you can play. We're going to give you a shot at a higher conference and see like, hey, if you can earn a starting role." In my mind, I'm like, I know I can play in a starting role because I know that I'm a good player. I know that I've shown that I have good tools and good abilities, but I want to play somewhere where I can stand out or have a possibility of, hey, like the draft is still in my reach. So in doing so, I was thinking, I was like, hey, like the JUCO route, like I wasn't really familiar with the JUCO route at the time because I was going from a Division I school and looking at mid majors. I didn't know if going the JUCO route was going to lessen my credibility or just be like too much of a risk for me. But in doing so, I turned that risk into just putting a lot of belief in myself and a lot of faith that, wherever I am playing, I'm still going to show out.
Okay, so you go to Florida Southwestern State. You played in 58 games, batted 421, 17 home runs, 79 RBIs. There's a lot of games I want you to talk about. So the first one, Northwest Florida in the opener.
Yeah, that was my first JUCO game, and going into that, we were playing. We didn't really know much of Northwest Florida at the time, but we knew that everybody in our conference can play. Everyone's a baller. Everyone is going to a top D1 school, so it was just who can play better that day. And that was another game where first game in the season opener where we lose by like 20-5. Like it was like I'm like, man, like we're losing by a lot, but hey, I still got to show out. And I ended up hitting my first junior college home run in that game. And I'm thinking, hey, like it doesn't matter what the score is. I still got to play my game and stay true to myself.
Okay, next, Pearl River.
Pearl River was they're a top Division II JUCO where it was more like saying that hey, like you're not playing in your division but you're still playing a good competition, and you had a lot of studs come out of Pearl River and make a
Right.
name for themselves. So it does, again, it's another one of those case scenarios where it doesn't matter what team you play, everyone is still playing at a high level, so you still got to compete. So in doing so, we just kept competing and we just kept grinding, knowing that hey, like as long as we can compete, we know that we're going to have a good season.
Okay, Chipola.
Chipola was a fun team to play against. We didn't have many games during the season because they're in the other division of the junior college, but we played them in the playoffs and we played them in the preseason. And in doing so, we realized that hey, like Florida JUCO, that's where it's at. Like
Right.
you wanna stand out, you want to play good competition, you go to Florida and you play junior college there and you see top talent where a lot of guys come out of they can even get drafted. In doing so myself, you can get drafted at junior college, you can go to a top D1 in junior college. Like a lot of good careers come out of JUCO, and I saw it for myself. Why?
Polk State.
Polk State was fun. It was actually Polk State was an interesting game because they had one of the top pitching recruits. So in doing so, you knew that like, hey, like those are the games you want to show out because they have good guys throwing the ball. So if you can play well against them, it shows that you're a top hitter. And the funny thing about Polk State, after the season ended, I had my workout with the Padres at Polk State at their field.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's where the Padres really got recognized of me.
Okay, Northwest Florida in the playoffs.
Dude, that game still haunts me to this day, man. Because in going into that series, we already lost to them in the season opener, and we haven't played them ever since the playoffs because they're not in our division. So we're like, hey, this is our time to get our game back, and especially in the big stage where it matters. You're in the playoffs, you want to win. We had a heck of a game. We showed an elite fight, but it came down to hey, who can come through and who can execute the best. And unfortunately, they executed, and they ended up walking us off. It was actually pretty funny because at the time we had to deal with injuries that I was even playing left field in that game, and it was the bottom of the ninth in a tie game. They had bases loaded with one out, and they hit a fly ball to me, and I was like, "Dude, I gotta throw this guy out, or we lose the game." I catch the ball, I throw it, and right when the ball gets to home plate, the guy's already cheering with his team because he's that fast. He's already there, and I'm like, "Dude, we just lost this game, and I'm not even in the position that I'm really primarily in, but I'm just glad I have the opportunity."
Okay, Indian River in the playoffs as well.
That was our last game that we played in that season, and I had a great game. I believe I went like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 in that game, and that was a divisional rival that we played because they ended up winning I think they won the Citrus Conference with records at the time, and then going into that, we were just seeing, hey, who's the best of our size, and if this is our last game, I might as well play it to the best of my abilities, which I ended up doing, and it was a lot of good competition. You had a lot of good guys come out of there. I remember in the Padres system, Another first baseman, same story as me. His name is Romero Sanabria. He's actually from Indian River too. So another JUCO product coming out, and then you're just seeing, hey man, talent is everywhere.
Okay. How did you feel knowing that that was potentially your last college game?
It was pretty crazy because I realized that I made a risk to come to junior college knowing that hey like I can either have a heck of a year and go somewhere better, or I just put myself in a scenario where I just need to grind and stay consistent with it, and it paid off. Like knowing that I ended a season where no matter if win or lose, I'm gonna be okay. I'm in a good position for myself. That kind of made me feel a lot better knowing that hey like I left it all on the field, and that just made me feel very proud of the season that I had.
What was your recruitment like out of JUCO?
It was actually not that interesting. Or it is interesting in the fact that it happened so quick and so early. So when I was committed to Florida Southwestern, 2 days before I showed up to campus, I got a call from the University of Pittsburgh. Their coach was actually the hitting coach at Florida Gulf Coast, and he got the job at the University of Pittsburgh. So in doing so, he was asking my head coach at Florida Southwestern, like, hey, who are some guys that I should be looking for? Next thing you know, I get a call from him 2 days before, and I got already got an offer from playing summer ball to go to the University of Pittsburgh. I talked to my mom, and we had a lot of discussions. Where we're like, hey, like you put yourself in a position where you want to go to a top university and play at the highest level. Like, here's your chance. So immediately I committed, and next thing you know, I walk into campus already knowing where I'm going for the next year.
Okay. So then the draft rolls around. Take me through your draft process.
I mean, I knew that I had a great year. Like I did everything that I wanted to at Florida Southwestern, which is probably one of my greatest accomplishments is you always want to go into a season and leave knowing that you've done everything in your power to have the best season imaginable. And that's what happened. So going into the draft, I'm like, hey, like I just need a shot. You give me a shot, I'm going to take full advantage of it. And I'm going to go into it knowing that, hey, this is an opportunity sent by God and hey, it's a blessing. So might as well take advantage of this blessing. And knowing whoever calls me, they got a stud.
Okay, so what was your reaction like once you got that call by the Padres?
It was pretty irreal. I mean, I looked at my mom and I was just saying like to myself, I made it. Like I got my shot. And I was just so proud of myself of getting able to hear my name on that screen and being on the phone knowing that this is my life now, that I'm a professional athlete and I'm doing what I love, and that's playing baseball.
Okay, let's go through spring training.
Spring training was fun because coming out of the all the camps, out of the draft camp to the strength camp, going into spring training, knowing that hey, this is the start of my career. You're always going to remember your first spring training because that will never leave your mind. I was just thinking, hey, how can I take everything that I trained during the off season and show up to spring training as prepared as possible? And that's what I did. I showed up, I was in great shape, and I knew that I put in a lot of work so that I can stand out when I'm in spring training. So that next thing you know, when the season rolls around, I can start.
Okay, take me through rookie ball.
Rookie ball was very fun, to be honest. I mean, that's where I kind of made a name for myself. I was coming off of an injury in my I was coming off of an injury that made me start right around the season opener of rookie ball. And in doing so, I was kind of bummed out about the injury, knowing that like, hey, like I didn't want to start my year with an injury, but I have to persevere. Perseverance is really what like I try to strive for with all the discipline and all the work that I put through. So going into rookie ball, I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter what level I start in. The game again is still the same. So I go into rookie ball and I'm like, hey, if I'm in this level, I'm going to be the best player in this level. I'm going to do everything in my power so I can put myself in a better position. And next thing you know, I get the call up.
Okay, let's go through single A.
Single A is a lot of fun, man. Again, that's where I made another name for myself. I go into Lake Elsinore, go to California, go into a new environment. Being a guy from Florida and now being in California, it's a big change, but it's a nice new scenery. You get to play with the guys that you were with in spring training. You get to play better competition, and you get to travel a little bit. It's nice to see new areas and new ballparks, and then playing in front of a crowd, which made it so much more fun to play at. And then as I go along, I'm like, hey, like again, this game's still the same. So I just got to keep crushing the ball and keep being as consistent as possible.
Okay, so July 2025 rolls around. You're a part of the Ryan O'Hearn trade. What was that like knowing, like, man, I'm headed to Baltimore now, and just thinking about your time with the Padres in the minors?
Again, I mean, the Padres was a little short lived. I mean, you get drafted basically a year before in the July 2024, you get drafted, and now in July 2025, you get traded. So, but that's how baseball works. You make a name for yourself, you stand out, you give yourself a lot of value, and in that value, you can help out another organization. So I was kind of proud when I got notified that I'm getting traded to Baltimore because that showed that all the work that I put in I created value for myself that I was added with a group of guys for two major league all-star players,
Right.
which gives you a lot of credibility and a lot of value. Coming from an 18th round pick to going into rookie ball to getting the call up to single A to getting traded for two MVP guys, I'll take that any day of the week, knowing that I put in all the work and that other teams are now seeing it.
So 2025, you batted 284 with 310 at bats, 12 homers, 52 RBIs, OPS of 901. What are the lessons that you learned so far, and what are your expectations going in 2026?
I learned that consistency is what wins, man. You gotta show that if you want to have good numbers, you got to stay consistent and stay true to your game. I was kind of reflecting on after the trade when I go into the Baltimore organization, I'm saying, hey, like I'm not being as consistent as I want to, or I want to hit more home runs. I got to play to my nature, which again, I'm a first baseman that can play a little bit of the corner outfields, but basically my main tool is my power. So going into 2026, I want to start hitting for more power so that I can show that, hey, like if I'm going to play to my position, I got to play it to the best of my abilities and be that role, which is that cleanup spot, being able to play some defense and being able to hit balls out the park. I need to be more consistent with my power.
What was your welcome to Juco and welcome to the minors story?
So I mean, when I was going into junior college, I really noticed that it's how much you want it and how much discipline can you put into it because the same thing for minor league ball. You're a professional athlete. You're basically your own player, and you the amount of work you put in is what you're gonna get out of it. But again, it's all up to you. You're not going to have anybody babying you. You're not going to have anybody watching you. And it kind of reminded me of junior college in the sense because, in junior college, you don't have top D1 facilities. You don't have all the coaches in the world. You don't have all the resources in the world. So you're basically working for yourself and you're putting all the work in that you want to. So it's basically you as a player. If you want to get the results, you got to put in the work.
Okay, 5 a.m. Juco stories.
Man, we didn't really have a lot of 5 a.m.s. We did
Okay.
lift a lot, but it was more of the consistent practicing with the lift after, with knowing that you're gonna do a little. We didn't even have buses; we drove in vans.
Oh, okay.
We go into van rides to play 4 hours away, 6 hours away, knowing that hey, like the day before we had a practice with the lift after. Like it was a lot of grinding, and knowing that you're going into the grind, you just got to either be happy with it and have fun with it, or you can let it hold you back. And in doing so, I'm like, hey man, if I'm gonna be working 6 hours a day on baseball to travel 6 hours to play another 4 hours. Some days you play the double headers. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna have fun with the grind, knowing that this is all gonna pay off.
What are your favorite places to play in JUCO and in the minors?
I want to say for junior college, my favorite, like our home field was my favorite stadium. You got the all turf, and then it is a hitter's park, so the ball flies. I played to my best abilities whenever we played at home. It was a lot of fun to play at, playing at the school that gave you the opportunity, knowing that you want to win for your own ballpark. That was always a treat. And then going into the minor league, same with in single A, it was Lake Elsinore Storm. The crowd is very nice. The fans were really good. Everybody was very appreciative of you, and I always had a lot of fun playing there. And then when I got traded to the Baltimore Orioles, going into Aberdeen, our home park was a lot of fun too. You got the turf again that reminded me of Juco, and all the kids there from in Aberdeen Park. You play at the Cal Ripken stadiums for Little League, right
Okay.
next to those stadiums. And in doing so, you have a lot of fan interactions with the kids there, and it's just a really good atmosphere to play in. So I was really excited to have the opportunity to play at that ballpark.
Okay. Toughest lineup, or sorry, toughest pitcher that you faced in JUCO and in the minors.
I want to say toughest pitcher. Toughest pitcher was probably a lefty that went to State College of Florida. I believe his name was Brandon Clark. He got drafted fourth round to the Boston Red Sox that same year
Okay.
as me. So yeah, man, he was a lefty that topped out at 100 and had like a 68-mile-an-hour curveball. So you're like thinking, dude, I gotta catch up to 100. And then when I'm sitting on a fastball, he throws 68. I'm like, man, dude, like it was very difficult to put a barrel on the ball, but when you do hit it, you hit it hard, which I was very grateful that anytime I put the barrel on the ball, especially with the metal bat, it came out pretty hard. So that was pretty fun. Going into minor league ball, I don't believe that I faced anybody that really stands out to me. Like I don't think I faced a lot of big names, but I want to say that when I got the bump up to high A, I saw the pitching difference from low A to high A. There, guys that know that they have a plan against you and that they can execute it a little better, made it a little difficult for me. So I want to say that just the jump in general made everybody a lot better and made me want to just compete more.
What is something that you struggled with this season that you want to improve on going into 2026?
Again, going into it, after the trade, I didn't hit one single home run. I started the season hot, hitting 12 home runs within the first half stretch, and then going into the second half, it would seem like the power just wasn't there. So I just want to go into 2026 knowing that however I start, I want to finish the same way. So I want to be more consistent with the power and hitting the ball for more, not necessarily for more line drives, but probably having a little arch and a lot of has to do with it with hitting to my pull side. I've always been a guy that used the whole field. I even like to go opposite field a lot. With looking at the numbers, I had a lot of opposite field rates. So going into 2026, I want to try to go to my pull side to create more home run power.
Okay, what is one thing you can expect in JUCO and in the minors?
The grind doesn't change, man. The grind does not change. When you're in junior college, you still gotta do everything that you grind for in junior college is the same as the minor leagues. You're just doing it to a higher expectation, and you gotta be able to execute every day, man. You gotta go into the weight room knowing that you want to get stronger. You gotta go on the field knowing you want to get better. You gotta go in the cage like you want to hit. Everything is the same as a part of a grind. You just have to execute it a little more.
What is your biggest source of motivation during challenging times?
Just your faith in God, man. My faith in God is I'm a very spiritual guy, and I'm glad that I have an awesome support system when it comes to my mom, to my family, to my lovely girlfriend. I have a very good support system, and knowing that in the roughest of times, I always have my Lord and Savior, watching me, and even my Heavenly Father. I can always go into the field knowing that I have an awesome support system that just takes me along the way.
Okay, so the next thing I do want to talk about is can you talk to me about your faith in God and your testimony?
Yeah, I mean, my faith really comes from all the resilience and the perseverance that I had throughout my life, knowing that in the challenging of times, knowing that my relationship with God can never waver, and knowing that I am first a follower of Christ before I am a baseball player, which is probably what I strive for. Is when people talk about me, they know that I'm a believer in Christ and that I'm a follower rather than just knowing me as a baseball player. I feel like that I want to identify myself as that.
Okay, what is your pregame meal?
I want to say my favorite pregame meal is probably if it's like a noon game, I like to have like a breakfast sandwich, man. Like now that I'm in Jersey, there's a thing called a pork roll, and I love it, dude. It's like a ham egg and cheese sandwich. Love those. And then if it's like a later game, probably like a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it would be pretty good, or a Chipotle bowl.
Okay. Next, take me through your daily routine versus your game day routine.
So, like in the off season, I usually wake up, make some breakfast. I go to the gym right after, try to get there before noonish so I can have my workout. I come back home, make some lunch, go out again to go to the cages, get some reps in, work on my hitting. If I can, and some days I put in some field work too as well. And then after, I just shower, hang out, and then just start on my recovery. Try to get as much sleep as possible because that's the best recovery you can do. And then on a game day, I wake up, make breakfast, and then I'm usually one of the first guys to the stadium where I start, preparing my body to do a lot of activities and make sure I'm in the training room knowing that I'm as prepared as possible to play the game and just being as mentally possible as I can.
Okay, what is one thing you do to get out of a slump?
Probably just remind yourself that it's you got to take it one game at a time, not thinking about everything that's happening before, just taking advantage of every at bat that you can, knowing that it doesn't matter what numbers you're hitting, it matters what you do in that moment. And when you're thinking you're to yourself that you're in that moment, you'll find more success because you're not thinking about all the past failures.
What is your best attribute?
I want to say probably my barrel rate because whenever I hit the barrel or whenever I put the barrel on the ball, my exit velo is always high. So exit velo is probably a good tool too that I want to say, but I think I have a high consistency with putting the barrel on the ball, which I like a lot. And I want to continue to do that. Now the only thing that I want to work on is adding some launch to it so I can create some more home run power.
What drives you to keep playing baseball?
Definitely, I want to say my inspiration came from my dad, who played some time in the minor leagues with the Dodgers organization. That was probably a good stepping stone. That knowing that, hey, like I have some baseball in my blood, and knowing that this is what I want to do, and probably just a determination of being the best player, or being the best man that I can possibly be.
Okay, what is the biggest thing you noticed transitioning from JUCO to the minors?
Just the execution, man. Going into the minor leagues, you got to play to the best of your abilities, and you know that you got to execute in certain situations if you want to succeed. In the minor league ball, the guy that executes the most is who finds more success amongst the levels. If you want to continue to climb up, you got to be able to execute. As in junior college, you're at a school where they expect you to execute, but at the same time, you don't have the pressure of getting a call up the next week or getting a call down the next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, what sacrifices have you had to make to pursue your athletic dream?
I want to say all the traveling away from family, going from Mississippi to being back home in Florida was nice. I was still 3 hours away from my family, but knowing that I'm traveling a lot and I'm not able to see them every day was probably one of my biggest sacrifices. But it probably also showed me the determination that I have for the love of the game. Knowing that even if I'm not with my close ones all the time, they're still with me and they're still here to support me. So in doing so, I can just go into the game and play to the best of my abilities.
What's it like playing in the minors?
It's fun, man. It's fun. Every day you wake up knowing that you're playing your dream job, you're playing the game that you love, and knowing that you have an opportunity to just show out in front of people and in front of everybody that you want to play for.
How do you stay mentally locked in?
Probably just realizing that, like, hey, like you're in the minor league system, you're still a professional athlete, but if you want to stay here, if you want the longevity of it, you got to be prepared, you got to be focused, you got to act like, hey, like, again, this is a game, but at the same time, this is your job. If you want to keep your job, you got to perform.
Okay, so now, Victor, I'm going to ask you some topics. These are some of the biggest things in college sports, and I'll know your opinion, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is what is your thoughts on NIL?
I feel like NIL is a great opportunity for players to get a sense of value amongst themselves. I like how players now are more they have more credibility to their name and they're making a name for themselves because we live in a society where social media and you know your look is very important when it comes to financial status. So in going into that, if you can prep a player in college to help them make a name for themselves, when they get into the professional setting, it makes it a lot easier for deals and other types of things and endorsements to come in, which helps them.
Okay, this next one. What is your thoughts on players having agents?
I think it's great, man. I have an agent myself. We actually have a whole company that works with me, which I like. It's like having another relationship with people that understand the game and understand your feelings, and it's like another sense of support system that always will stay loyal to you.
Out of your career, what season means the most to you, and what coach means the most to you?
I want to say my junior college career probably means the most as of right now, because that's where really I made a name for myself and where my dreams, became possible. And probably the coach that probably I would say would be my uncle. His name is Jose Ortega, and he trained me from the age of like 10 until I got even into the junior college. And going into that, I always know that he'll be my support system. And if I ever need to call somebody, I can always call him.
What is your thoughts on the transfer portal?
I feel like it's again a great opportunity for players that want to make a name for themselves. Because if you go into the transfer portal, you can find better opportunities, and everybody just wants to see their best fit, and in doing so, they go into the portal, and that's where they find it.
Okay, so with you being in the Padres organization before, do you know Garrett Watson and Tyson Neighbors?
I do know Tyson Neighbors.
Okay.
Tyson, me and Tyson, we met after during draft camp when
Okay.
I got drafted. He's a great dude, and then after the trade, we still keep in touch now to this day. We talk, and yeah, he's a great dude. Garrett Watson. I don't believe I think he went to Wat Wadi. I think it's Wadi, right? Wait,
Yeah.
Wadi. I'm pretty sure that he's still with the Padres and
Yup.
yeah, Wadi. Yeah, no, we talked a lot during draft camp again, and then he was going through some injury. So then when I was back in rookie ball, we would still talk to that day. He's a great dude as well.
Okay, so Victor, this next question for you is with you taking the JUCO route, do you think it changed your life?
Yeah, because that was the moment where I realized I can bet on myself and find a way to succeed. Wherever I put myself, I know that if the opportunity is there, I have a chance to succeed. And going to JUCO just proved that.
What is your walk-up song?
My go-to walk-up song was probably I want to say The Stroke. The Stroke was probably one of my better ones. I like having a song that connects with the fans and something that everybody could engage to. That was probably one of my favorite ones.
So this next question, how you said your dad grew up playing in the minors, right? Did you end up going to his games while you're growing up?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I did. My dad was in the minor league system for I want to say 7 years. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was 5 years old. But I know that as a child, I did go to a couple of his games.
Okay, so my next question is for you. With you going from Mississippi Valley State to the JUCO route, what ultimately decided on that decision? Because from the numbers that you put up your first year in the SWAC, was it like, I want to go to the JUCO route? Or were you thinking like, what was going through your mind at that time? Because you put up some really good numbers your first year as a freshman in the SWAC, and you were first team of the SWAC.
Yeah, I mean, again, thinking about where is the best opportunity for me. I'm going if I go to junior college, I can put myself in the position where if I play to the same standard as I did my freshman year, I can go to a top five school, which as in going being in Mississippi Valley, not having that credibility, yeah, I can only go to a mid-major. So really I was just betting on myself, knowing that I can take advantage of that opportunity.
What was it like playing at Mississippi Valley State?
It was definitely a grind, I want to say. It's probably where I realized how much I do love the game, knowing that, I'm away from family and I'm somewhere where I really have to grind and, try to make a name for myself. That's probably the place where I realize how much I do love the game of baseball.
Okay, so I had Jace Jones and Tanner Aoki. They both play at Mississippi Valley State on my podcast, and they said they had a lot of their games canceled in the SWAC due to like rain. So like if it rains there, a lot of games get canceled. Did that ever happen to you?
100%. A lot of our midweeks got canceled, and some I think conference games even got canceled that had needed to be rescheduled because of the field standards.
So growing up, what was your favorite MLB team?
Probably it was definitely the Dodgers because my dad played for the Dodgers organization. So I was just trying to, it was probably the first team that really came to mind. But going into now, I'm just rooting for whatever team I play on.
How do you think you handle constructive criticism and feedback?
I handle it super well because I know that all the resources that we have here are just here to help me. So in doing so, I take whatever type of help I can get, and if it's just little things, if it's little corrections, I always keep it in mind, and I just analyze what they're saying and see what I can do to become the best version of myself.
Out of your career, what is your favorite game of your career?
Well, my favorite game so far, probably the two home run game I had against Modesto this year. That was a really fun game for myself. That's probably my favorite one, yeah.
Okay, now, Victor, the last question I have for you today is what advice do you have for high school players, JUCO players, Division One players trying to make it to the next level like you have?
It's a grind, dude, and knowing that you gotta really know how disciplined you want to be, and whatever goal you're trying to reach, it's there for you. So knowing that if you have a goal set in mind, you have to put in the work and you have to put in the results that you want in order to put yourself in the best position possible. So I say for anybody that wants to go to the next level, it's definitely within reach. Knowing that going reflecting through my life, knowing that wherever I was, if you can become the best version of yourself and be the best player that you want to be, you can give yourself the opportunity to play in the next level.
Well, Victor, I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come on here and talk to me. I wish you the best of luck in 2026, man, and looking forward to your career, man. Go ball out.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the time.
Most definitely.